friends! My name is Hannah and I'm here to tell you the story of Moses and his humble beginnings. Now, do you recall the story of Joseph and his coat of many colors? If you do, perhaps you'll remember that the people from Joseph's family were called the Hebrews. And the Hebrews, they lived in the land of Goshen in Egypt along with the Egyptians. But they were treated very differently, the two groups were. So the Pharaoh who came into power in Egypt, he had forgotten all about what Joseph had done for his people, and many years had passed. And so he saw this multitude of Hebrew people, and he saw them as a threat that they could overthrow him in Egypt. And so he came up with one solution, and that was to make all of the Hebrews slaves. The Hebrews were forced to work in the hot sun, carrying brick and straw from sunrise to sundown, with the whip upon their back, with very little food and water to drink, with so much pain from all the hard work and the beatings that they would get. And it seemed like all hope was lost. However, in spite of all of this, the Hebrews continued to grow. And so Pharaoh noticed that the Hebrews were not diminishing at all, and he came up with another law, which was to kill all the Hebrew baby boys, a harsh and terrible law. However, there was one Hebrew couple in the land of Goshen who had a new baby boy, and they wanted to hide him because he was a beautiful baby. They didn't want him to be killed, and so for the first 3 months, they kept him hidden. And then, after 3 months passed, the baby began to grow, and his cries, they began to grow louder and louder. So they had to think about what should they do? Do you know what they did to hide the baby? Yes. So, as you may know, the baby's mother went to the Nile River, and she put the baby inside of a basket and put the basket into the Nile River among the reeds, so it was hidden very well. Now, the oldest sister, Miriam, hid behind the reeds and watched the baby float from afar. On the other side of the Nile River, there was an Egyptian princess who was taking her daily swim with her servant. And she notices the basket from afar, and she asked the servant, I wonder what's in this basket. Would you be able to go fetch the basket for me? And so the servant goes to grab the basket, gives it to the princess, and inside the basket, she was shocked to find a Hebrew baby boy crying, and she had so much compassion for him. She decided to keep him as her own son, and she named the baby Moses because he was drawn out of the water. Meanwhile, Miriam was behind the reeds, and she came out. She found the courage to approach the princess, and she told her, I know a Hebrew woman who could nurse the baby for you. And the princess was very pleased with Miriam. She said, yes, please go fetch the woman so that she can wean this child for me. And once he is a little bit older, bring him to my palace so that he can become my son. And hence is the beginning of the story of Moses, the humble beginnings. He came from the family of slaves in Egypt, and now is being raised in Pharaoh's house. Now, many times God will give people humble beginnings if He wants to use them in a mighty way. So if you want to know the story of Moses and how he changed the history of my people, come back the next following weeks and join us for the Moses Chronicles.